right, it is March 16th here in Missouri, the night before opening day, and I'm out here roosting on one of my spots, the spot where I killed my bird last year opening morning, or not opening morning, the first time I hunted it. So Jake and I are going to come out here in the morning and set up. I got a Banks blind set up down in this opening in the timber, exactly where I killed my turkey last year. So it's been really windy the last couple days. Birds haven't really been out doing much. We got a bunch of rain, but the wind is finally getting out of here. It's just starting to die down, and in the morning it's going to be almost dead and cold and clear. So they should be gobbling. Everything's greening up, starting to really look like spring here in Missouri. So we are super excited. Can't wait to get after them. So I'm going to stand up here on the hill. I should be able to hear this whole draw here, and just make sure that they're roosted in here tonight, and we should be in the game in the morning. So alright, it's opening morning here in Missouri, and I'm set up in the same spot where I killed my bird last year on the 19th, in this little grassy opening down in the timber. I moved my Banks blind in here a couple weeks ago and got it all set up in this spot. Just had a couple birds fire off up the ditch from me. It took them a while to start gobbling this morning, but they're hammering now. It's kind of windy in the upper 30s, so it's not a real great morning for gobbling, but they're starting to gobble now. We'll see what they do when they pitch down. Okay, well, these birds were roosted up the ditch from me here to the south. They sound like they're starting to move down, kind of parallel with me. I haven't called to them a bunch yet, but I'm about to do a little calling here and see if I can get them to answer and start coming this way. The wind's kind of blowing, and I'm down in this bowl, so I think this is where they'd want to be. There's a few other birds gobbling somewhere else. I can't really tell in this blind whenever I'm not out by the window, so definitely enough birds here, and they're finally starting to gobble this morning, so hopefully I can pull these ones in. These birds sound like they're getting closer. They don't sound more than 200 yards, 150 yards maybe. I should be able to see them here any minute. They're right up in there in the timber. Definitely getting closer every time I call. They've been gobbling back immediately. We'll see what happens here. I'm set up in a perfect spot. If they come into this opening, they're going to see these decoys. Fingers crossed. That was awesome. Those birds flew down. They were gobbling back to me every call, so I figured if I just gave it long enough, they were going to break away. I'm not sure if they had hens or not, but I could tell it was at least two of them. I looked out the side of the blind here, and I saw their heads coming up through the ditch. It was 3 gobblers. They came out into this meadow, were coming towards the decoy, and they got probably 5-6 yards from it, and they didn't want to commit all the way. They were behind this window, or this spot in between the windows on the blind. I got to full draw with the headhunter. They wouldn't step out into my opening. A couple of them turned around and started walking off a little bit, so I had to switch arrows, put on not the head shooting broadhead, and decided I was just going to shoot him in the back. Got the camera moved over, and one of them was perfectly facing straight away, which is the best shot, and got to full draw right through this side window, and I smoked him. He went down in the ditch and went down. So that is awesome. Opening morning in Missouri. When I set this blind here, I knew I was gonna have a good chance here opening morning, and as soon as these birds started gobbling this morning, I knew they were in trouble if they wanted to come to a call. And that's exactly what happened. So let's go out here and take a look at him. Well, I just went down. The last place he ran was right down there in that ditch. Went down there and grabbed him. He was piled up right there. And there he is. Look at that. Opening morning in Missouri. Doesn't get any better than that. Pretty sweet. Even had Buddy with me this morning, hanging out in the blind. That was a lot of fun. Usually by this time of year when Missouri opens their season, these birds have been breeding for a month and they are just on fire, and it couldn't have worked out any better. They hit the ground, gobbled 3 or 4 times. They were answering every call, so I figured they were gonna break eventually, and it didn't take very long. I mean, the sun's been up for 20 minutes, and looked over. Here they stepped out into this meadow and right to me. Well, I don't think opening morning could have went any better. Another awesome hunt this morning. I've been waiting for Missouri to open. I knew this spot was going to be good. I put this blind here a couple weeks ago, and over the years, this is just such a good spot. These birds roost right here in this ditch somewhere from right where I'm sitting to the end of it's about 300 yards. And they were roosted about 200 up there this morning. They didn't start gobbling until a little later. I was kind of worried when I got in the blind. I hadn't heard anything that these turkeys weren't here, but they finally started gobbling in the tree. They hit the ground. They were answering me every time I called, and I knew it was a matter of time before I broke them away. If they had hens up there, I'm not sure, but I knew they were eventually going to come this way, and I looked over and they were 40 yards in the field already, coming right to me. And they didn't commit all the way to the decoys. I was having a tough time getting on them with the headhunter. I came to full draw, but they were behind the dead spot between the windows, and I switched arrows. He was standing dead still, facing straight away, and put a perfect shot on him, and he didn't make it 50 yards right down into the thick stuff and piled up. So had Buddy in the blind with me this morning, so that was pretty cool. He didn't really have any clue what was going on. He was taking a nap, but still pretty cool to have him here with me. So Dylan, Marty, and Kellen will be here this weekend. I can't hunt again for a week here in Missouri, but man, I sure am happy with this guy. What a morning. Beautiful bird. 2-year-old. Spurs aren't very big, but that's the fun thing about turkey hunting. Once they got a full fan and a beard, it doesn't matter what they are as long as they come in and act right, and they definitely did. So beautiful morning here in Missouri. Jake might be coming up here after a bit. We might go try to get on a late morning bird with him, but just another awesome hunt this spring. Number 4 for me. Doesn't get much better than that. What a hunt this morning.